Thing about life is that we will all face a storm in our lives where we feel as if life difficulties will overwhelm us and convince us that there is no hope. It's almost as if we're in a boat and we're passing through a severe storm with severe waves. And it almost feels as if we're never going to arrive to our destination. It's like you appear to be the only passenger and also the captain on the boat. And you will soon be consumed by the sea of life, because the difficulties do not seem to abate and the storm does not seem to abate. You will not survive the storm if you face it alone. You must awaken God in your life, and He will calm the storm and calm the waters. He will stop the rain and He will stop the waves. Let's look at the story in Matthew 8, verse 23 to 27. Verse 23 reads, "And when He entered into the ship, His disciples followed Him." So in this context of the situation, we know that Jesus was with His apostles Matthew, Luke, and Mark, and they were crossing the Sea of Galilee. And verse 24 reads, "And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but He was asleep." So we know during this trip that there was a storm approaching and the weather was abruptly changing. Jesus and His disciples would soon face difficulties. The ship became surrounded by waves that could have sunk the vessel and everyone on board. Although we are aware that the disciples were put in a difficult, very extreme situation, we know that this was God's ideal opportunity to show His glory. Verse 25 reads, "And His disciples came to Him and awoke Him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish." The disciples saying, "Lord, save us, we perish," they expressed both their faith in His might and also their frailty by failing to take into account who was with them on the ship. But the disciples, seeing that the sky was falling, they heard the winds howling, and they saw that the sea and the clouds were being propelled with the fury of the storm. And verse 26 reads, "And He saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye have little faith? Then He arose and He rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And Jesus asked them, Why are you afraid? Can you imagine God allowing me to be lost in a storm? Or that I would prioritize my own safety over yours?" So after the disciples witnessed the many miracles Jesus performed, the disciples had good and ample reason to believe that in His power and goodness, that even in the face of a great peril, that even if their ship had sunk, Jesus that gave sight to the blind, He cleansed the lepers and drove away palsies and fevers with a single word, He could have easily have saved them all by making them walk firmly on water, as He later enabled one of them to do so, and we know that was Peter. Their timidity was entirely to blame, and the reprimand that Jesus gave them was entirely justified. When Jesus says, "Oh, you who have little faith," it was almost as if He said, "You undertook this voyage at my command, and now you are afraid that you're going to perish in it?" So Jesus arose and rebuked the winds, as a good parent would do to a group of agitated kids, scared kids especially. He created the spirits of His disciples first, then the sea, and there was an immediate sense of calm, specifically as soon as He said the words. Mark 4:39 tells us, "And He arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." Verse 27 reads, "But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey Him?" The disciples were saying He must be more than a man to command winds and seas. This reflection of theirs, as well as their fear in times of danger, sometimes appear unfathomable to some. Given the disciples that they seen many miracles and they witnessed many things that Jesus did. However, it should be noted that His miracles that were previously done were performed on the sick people, and that He had given no proof of His dominion over the elements of wind and of water, which were thought to be less subject to human control than body elements. So, this glory that God showed them, that Jesus showed them, was something that they never seen before. Or God is a great source of comfort in our lives when we face adversity. It's reassuring to know that we have a Savior to trust in and pray to, and someone who understands what it's like to be on the water and in storms. Those who travel with Christ across this ocean of the world must brace themselves for storms. His human nature, which was similar to ours every way except sin, was tired and he slept. At this time, to test his faith of his disciples, they came to him in terror. This is how it is in the soul, when lust and temptations are swelling and raging, and God is, as it were, asleep to it. But God and Jesus will bring this to a head.